What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. So before I get into this video, I want to give a shout out once again to the brother Clayton Phillips for the donation to the channel via the PayPal. I've been very generous, man, with donations as of late. Much respect to you for showing love. Once again, to Too Raw for TV, aka Too Raw for Sports, aka Too Raw Media. So, in this particular video, I got a video request to give my top 10 favorite international players, or I'm assuming he meant players that eventually played in the NBA that were not originally from the United States. Now, this isn't my list of top 10 who I think were the 10 greatest. This is a list of my 10 favorite. And I tried my best to put this in some type of order. You know, after like the first three, it's kind of hard to necessarily make a list like this. It really could take weeks, but I'm trying to do it not on the fly, but trying to come up with a list as close to accurate as possible. So this is pretty much my list of my top 10 favorite international basketball players. Not greatest, but 10 favorite. So at number 10, I have Rick Smits, longtime Indiana Pacer. Believe he played for about 11 seasons, I think it was. I want to say from 1989 to 2000. I believe the last games he played were the 2000 NBA Finals. I think his nickname was the Dunkin' Dutchman. And let's see. He came out of Marist. So I actually played from 1988 to 2000. That's what it was. 1988 to 2000. And as far as his accolades are concerned, he was an NBA All-Star in 1998. He was on the NBA All-Rookie First Team in 1988. And those are his NBA accolades. For his NBA career, he averaged 14.8 points per game, 6.1 rebounds, 1.3 blocks per game. He was known as one of the best shooting big men in the NBA. And I'm pretty sure in today's league, he would have been a great three-point shooter. Was not a strong rebounder. I've noticed that a lot of big men who are over 7'2", that seems to be the cutoff historically. A lot of big men over 7 foot, most big men over 7'2", if not all, are relatively poor rebounders, which indicates that it's not always about height. You know, a lot of big men, when they get to that particular height, man, you know, your coordination can be off. You're not as swift of foot. You know, your balance isn't the best. So those are things that are integral to being a great rebounder. So, you know, a lot of the rebounds he got was because of his height. But, like I said, that's the guy I have at number 10. At number 9, it's Ped Sakovich. All right? Now, Ped Sakovich was a more accomplished NBA player. And I believe he was drafted in the late 90s. I believe it was. Let me see what year it was. Was it 97? 96? Ped Sakovich was drafted. Well, he's from Yugoslavia. I should mention that. By the way, wait a minute. Before I go forward, let me do this, because I hadn't mentioned this with Rick Smits. Smits was from the Netherlands, right? So I hadn't mentioned that. Ped Sakovich was from Yugoslavia. I hadn't mentioned actually what country they were from. And let me see what year it was. Ped Sakovich was 6'10", 229 pounds. Rick Smith was like 7'4", 235, 240, maybe 250, somewhere in that range. So it was 1996. It was 96, okay? He was selected by the Sacramento Kings. He played 8 years with the Kings, played like a half a season or so with the Pacers, had a stint with the Hornets, played 1 year with the Raptors, and has played his last season with the Dallas Mavericks and won a championship on that Mavericks team coming off the bench. So he's one of the best shooters in NBA history, over 40% for his career, I believe, from beyond the arc. Although he did kind of have a reputation for being a little streaky and somewhat unclutch compared to other great shooters. But he won a championship in 2011, three-time NBA All-Star, All-NBA second team, twice with the three-point champion in the All-Star break, 2002 and 2003. And his number 16 retired by the Sacramento Kings. I'm not going to name the overseas stuff, just naming NBA accolades. For his NBA career, he averaged 17 points per game, 4.7 rebounds, and 1.8 assists per contest. And he shot 45% from the floor, 40.1% from three, and was an 89.5% career free throw shooter. So one of the great shooters the game has seen. And number 8, I have Tony Kukoc. I mean, you can't be a Bulls fan and not name Tony Kukoc. Now, if I remember correctly, Tony Kukoc was actually drafted in 1990, but he did not play in the NBA until 1993. And he was listed 6'11", 235 pounds, but he was probably more around 6'9.5", maybe. Probably more around 6'9.5". One of the first stretch fours. He did not have the NBA career that his NBA career was not as dominant as his international career. Tony Kukoc is an international Hall of Famer, not an NBA Hall of Famer, but his international achievements are unbelievable. But in the NBA, he was a solid player. Could shoot, but not on the level of these guys today. But he could shoot from outside. He could pass. Was a matchup nightmare for defenses because of his size and his ability to shoot. He could get really, really streaky. I mean, it was some games, man, where he took over ball games for the Chicago Bulls. You know, not Jordan, not Pippen, him. There were some games he would take over. I remember a key game against the Lakers. I think it was the 96-97 season when he scored 31 points coming off the bench. And then I remember, of course, in that pivotal Game 7 in 1998 NBA Finals, he took over in that third quarter for the Chicago Bulls, kept them afloat when Mike and Scotty were both having bad shooting nights. I think Mike shot 9 for 25 from that game. Anyway, Tony Kukoc from Croatia, three-time NBA champion, 1995-96 Sixth Man of the Year, 93-94 NBA All-Rookie second team. And Tony Kukoc for his NBA career, 11.6 points, 4.2 rebounds, 3.7 assists on 44.7% shooting from the floor and 33.5% from three-point range, 72.9% from the free throw line. So Tony Kukoc, definitely up there. And number 7, Arvydas Sabonis. Now the Arvydas Sabonis that we saw, that played with the Portland Trailblazers, was not in his prime. That Sabonis was about 300 pounds, about 20 pounds, 25 pounds heavier than his prime. That Sabonis had knee and leg problems, so he was not the same guy. But man, some of the passes that he was doing back then, we had never, ever seen a big man do in a game. don't get me wrong, we had some great passing big men, but not to the skill level that he was doing. Oh my God, man! If that guy could only came to the NBA in his prime, he would have been, he'd have been something amazing, man. He probably would have been like a minimum top 3 or 4 center all time. Arvydas Sabonis didn't get into the NBA until he was 31 years of age, almost 32. He was from the Soviet Union, Lithuania to be exact. Now, of course, the Soviet Union doesn't exist anymore, but that's where he was from at the time. He came to the NBA in 1995 and played to 2001 with the Portland Trailblazers and went back overseas for 1 year and then played 1 more year at Portland before he left the NBA for good and played 1 more year overseas where he was done. As far as his NBA career, does he have any accolades? No, all of his stuff is overseas for the most part. But in his NBA career here, 12 points per game, 7.3 rebounds, 2.1 assists per contest. 50% from the floor, 32.8% from three-point range, 78.6% from the free throw line. You know, this is, like I said, man, this guy was like a bigger Larry Bird as far as the way he was being touted back in the 80s. At number 6, I have Drazen Petrovic. I've done a video talking about him on my I think it was on my Two Raw Media channel. And I've done many videos talking about him in reference to other players. Drazen Petrovic, of course, was tragically killed in a car accident back in June of 1993. He was on his way to becoming a true perennial all-star in the NBA. Now, you can make a case that because of his tragic deaths, maybe in some ways, we kind of overinflate him a little bit, perhaps. But he was from Croatia, formerly Yugoslavia. He was 6'5", 195 pounds, drafted back in 1986, but did not appear in the NBA until 1989. And back then, because of the glut of guards they had, he didn't get much time as far as play time. That's part of why he was eventually traded to the New Jersey Nets, and that's where he truly blossomed as a basketball player. In the NBA, he averaged 15.4 points per game, 2.3 rebounds, 2.4 assists. And he shot 50.6% from the floor, but a remarkable 43.7% from downtown and 84.1% from the free throw line. He had a career effective field goal percentage of 54.4%. The late, great Drazen Petrovic. So to keep going forward, at number 5, Dirk Nowitzki. I don't really need to. I don't want to keep going through all these guys' stats, but we know Dirk Nowitzki's from Germany. Dirk Nowitzki, in my opinion, he and Hakeem Olajuwon are probably the 2 greatest international players the game has ever seen. Dirk Nowitzki, over 31,000 career points, played 21 NBA seasons, all with the Dallas Mavericks, led the Dallas Mavericks to their only NBA championship in 2011, the greatest Dallas Maverick ever. I know some people are trying to already replace him with Luka Doncic, but until Luka Doncic wins a championship, let alone get to an NBA Finals and put in all of the work that Dirk did, I can't do that yet. Dirk Nowitzki, let's look at his accolades. Well, you know what? I'm going to go do it anyway. I'm going to look at Dirk Nowitzki. far as his NBA career is concerned, NBA champion, Finals MVP, 2007 League MVP, 14-time NBA All-Star, 4-time All-NBA First Teamer, 5-time All-NBA Second Teamer, 3 times All-NBA Third Teamer. In 2006-2007, became a member of the 50-40-90 Club. 2006 NBA three-point contest champion. I think he's one of only two big men to win that award. I think the other one is Karl Anthony Towns as far as a big man. But Dirk was a power forward. Karl Anthony Towns was center. Was the 2016-17 Teammate of the Year. Is on the 75th anniversary team. Number 41 retired by the Dallas Mavericks. Dirk in his career averaged 20.7 points per game, 7.5 rebounds, 2.4 assists per contest. He shot 47.1% from the floor for his career, 38% career three-point shooter, and 87.9% from the charity stripe. But his playoff numbers are even better. For his playoff career, 25.3 points, 10 rebounds, 2.5 assists, 46.2% from the field, 36.5% from three-point range, and 89.2% from the charity stripe. So his free throw percentage went up during the playoffs. So number 4, I have the Dikembe Mutombo. Got to show some of these defensive guys some love to Dikembe Mutombo. Hope he's doing well. I had not heard from him, or heard about him, I should say, since it was announced that he had that brain tumor. I hope he's doing all right. But Dikembe Mutombo, Mount Matumbo as he was known, was from the Congo, and he was drafted back in 1991. And he started off his career with the Denver Nuggets. Then, of course, had this stint with Atlanta Hawks, that 1 year with the Sixers, 1 season with the Nets, 1 season with the Knicks, and then finished off his career with a 5-year stint with the Houston Rockets. I almost want to say, didn't Matumbo almost get traded to the Bulls? I don't know why I'm having a false memory. Maybe I'm having a false memory of that. But anyway, Dikembe Mutombo, one of the great shot blockers of all time. I think he's second all time in block shots, if I'm not mistaken. 8-time NBA All-Star, All-NBA Second Teamer, 2 times All-NBA Third Team, 4-time Defensive Player of the Year winner, 3 times NBA All-Defensive First Team, 3 times NBA All-Defensive Second Team, NBA All-Rookie First Team, twice led the league in rebounding, 3 times led the league in blocks. Matter of fact, it was for 3 consecutive seasons, 93-94, 94-95, and 95-96. And he won the IBM Award back in 1999. His number 55 retired by 2 different franchises, the Denver Nuggets and the Atlanta Hawks. For his career, Dikembe Mutombo averaged 9.8 points, 10.3 rebounds, and 2.8 blocks per game. He shot 51.8% from the floor and 68.4% from the charity stripe. In the playoffs, Dikembe Mutombo played in 101 games and averaged 9.1 points, 9.5 rebounds, 2.5 blocks per game. And shot 70.3% from the charity stripe and 51.7% from the field, about 52%. Now, you're going to be like, why I got this guy ahead of him? But he's not better than Dikembe. But I just love Matumbo. I loved him. I don't know, I just love Matumbo, man. This guy was a shot blocking phenomenon. Well, I can actually argue that he was a better shot blocker than Matumbo. At least at the rate in which he blocked shots. He didn't play as many minutes. He didn't play, oftentimes he wasn't a starter. But at the rate in which he blocked shots, I think blocks per minute, he's number 1 all time. Matumbo. I believe Matumbo was from Sudan, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see. His son, of course, is Bobo. He was 7'6.5" or 7'7". He's the second tallest player in NBA history behind George Mirasan. And yeah, he was from South Sudan. That's it. Unfortunately, he passed away back in 2010 in Charlottesville, Virginia. He was 7'7", 200 pounds. Drafted back in 1985 by the Washington Bullets. He played for about 12 seasons. And the NBA teams he played for were the Bullets, the Warriors, the Sixers, the Heat. A short stint with the Bullets, a short stint with the Sixers, the Warriors for a year. And that's it as far as NBA career. 1986, he was on the NBA All-Defensive Second Team. And twice he led the NBA in blocks, 1985-86 and 88-89. For his career, he averaged 2.6 points per game, 4.2 rebounds, but 3.3 blocks per game. 3.3 blocks per game. And toward the end of his career, he even started shooting threes. He even started bombing away from three. He had a very... Matter of fact, he had... I think his best shooting game was a game back in 92-93 when he was playing with the Sixers. They were playing against the Suns. I think he hit like 6 threes in that game. But anyway, was not a great scorer at all. He was weak. Did not have much of an offensive game at all. Only shot 41% from the floor for his career. In the playoffs, only played in 29 playoff games. 2.8 points, 3.8 rebounds, 2.7 blocks. I mean, really, 38.6% shooting. He really was not a good shooter. Only 44% from the line in the playoffs. In the regular season, only a 56% free throw shooter. He was not a very skilled player at all, but the one thing he did well was block goddamn shots. Number 2, Giannis Antetokounmpo. Don't need to say too much about that. Y'all know my little... I know my affinity for Giannis as a basketball player. Giannis, over his career, averaged 22.7 points, 9.6 rebounds, 4.7 assists, 54% shooting from the floor, 29% from three, 71% from the line. And in the playoffs, I suspect his numbers are better than that. In the playoffs, Giannis has averaged 26.6 points, 12 rebounds, 5.2 assists, 1 steal, 1.3 blocks, 53% shooting from the floor, only 26% from downtown, and only 62% from the line. He's really struggled from the free throw line in the postseason. Giannis, as far as his overall accomplishments in the NBA, NBA champion, Finals MVP, 2-time league MVP, 7-time All-Star, 2021 All-Star Game MVP, 5-time All-NBA First Team, 2 times All-NBA Second Team, was the 2019-20 Defensive Player of the Year, 4 times NBA All-Defensive First Team, 1 year, 2017 NBA All-Defensive Second Team, Most Improved Player back in 2017, NBA All-Rookie Second Team 2014, on the 75th Anniversary Team. And that's Giannis Antetokounmpo, man. Still playing, still in his prime. And number 1, I got Akeem the Dream Olajuwon. Still, in my opinion, the most skilled overall center when you incorporate offense, defense, ball handling, and passing. He wasn't a passer on the level of Bill Walton, Wes Unseld, Wilt, Joker, Arvydas Sabonis. He wasn't a passer on those guys' level, but he really improved that aspect of his game as his career progressed. Akeem Olajuwon was drafted back in 1984. And Akeem Olajuwon came out of Nigeria, I believe it was. And 2-time NBA champion, 2-time Finals MVP, 1994 League MVP, 12-time All-Star, 6-time All-NBA First Teamer, 3 times All-NBA Second Team, 3 times All-NBA Third Team, twice the NBA Defensive Player of the Year winner, 5 times NBA All-Defensive First Team, 4 times NBA All-Defensive Second Team, NBA All-Rookie First Team, won the IBM Award back in '93, twice led the league in rebounding, 3 times led the league in blocks. Number 34 retired by the Houston Rockets. Is on the 50th and 75th anniversary teams. Akeem the Dream Olajuwon. For his career, he averaged 21.8 points per game, 11.1 rebounds, 3.1 blocks per game. Is the official all-time blocks leader. But really, I really have to really say just he's more than likely he's not the real actual blocks leader. If I had to guess, I think up to 4 players had more blocks than him. I would say up to 4. Will Chamberlain, Bill Russell, Nate Thurman, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I think he's really 5th. All right? But anyway, when you look at the playoffs for Olajuwon about 6'10" and a half and 250 pounds. But his playoff numbers, he's one of those guys that really rose his level of play. 25.9 points, 11.2 rebounds, 3.2 assists, 1.7 steals, 3.3 blocks, 53% shooting from the floor from the playoffs, 72% from the line. As a matter of fact, let's look at something here. Between 1986 and 1995 in the postseason, Olajuwon averaged 29 points, 11.8 rebounds, 3.8 assists, 1.6 steals, 3.8 blocks per game, 53.4% shooting from the floor, and 75.9% from the free throw line. Man, this guy was a monster. This guy was a beast. So that's my 10 favorite international players in NBA history. So what you guys think?